Pose Basics. This is the second video of the series. In this sequence, we're highlighting 3 poses once again, but this time we're actually doing externally rotated postures. So what I mean by that is that in the first series, we did the lunges and the hips were squared forward. This series, the hips will be facing the long side of your mat. So you can see that the pelvis is actually needing to open, and we're relying on these external rotators to do that for us, as well as a really amazing openness through the adductors, or the inner seam of the leg. So the poses in this sequence are Warrior 2, Exalted Warrior, and Side Angle Pose. There'll be variations for all of these poses, and we'll build ourselves up so that when we get there, hopefully we arrive with a whole lot of space and strength to hold them. The focus from the legs up, so the pelvis and the legs, as I mentioned, the pelvis is open, so there's this external rotation. So we need to have really strong abductors, so those ones that open the pelvis, and open adductors. So we already mentioned that. The trunk is really similar to our last series. So we need the erector spinae, that are the muscles that lace along the discs of your spine, as well as your quadratus lumborum, a very deep stabilizing muscle for your spine. We need these guys really, really strong to help us keep the spine upright. And then we also need to match that with the strength of the front body. So you'll be drawing those ribs down towards the hips to keep a really stable torso. Now, lastly, for the arms, the positioning is different between those 3 poses. The first position for Warrior 2 requires actually a lot of strong deltoid strength. So bring your arms out right now just for a moment and flip your palms up. Feel that the shoulders really naturally settle down the back body because of that external rotation at where the head of the arm bone attaches into the socket. Now keep that and then drop the palms down. So that's actually the positioning I want in your arms for all 3 of the poses, rather than just lifting your arms up and shrugging them like this. So I always, in my personal practice, open palms up, and then I keep everything of the arms like this, and I just position my palms down. Can you guys feel that? I hope so. For the other 2, we'll have one arm extended, so we'll be doing a lot of side body opening in our prep work, as well as trapezius and tricep awareness to help us get that big side body stretch. All right, so let's get started. Make sure that you have 2 blocks and a strap for this sequence, and if you don't have them, go ahead and pause the video and I'll meet you back on your mat. We're starting in a Baddha Konasana today, so go ahead and take the soles of the feet together. If in this position you feel like you're kind of rounding into the spine, take a moment to prop your pelvis up with a blanket or a block, and then hands to the ankles or thumbs to the arch of the foot, or wrap the hands around the toes. Pull your shoulders back. Allow your eyes to close. And take 3 deep breaths all the way in, all the way out. Releasing the mind of external thoughts, plans, lists, and arriving into this moment exactly as it is. You've got the Georgian Bay soundtrack here of the water, the seagulls, a light breeze. Maybe you can even picture that light breeze on your skin, cooling you off. Take another moment wherever you are in your studio space and notice 1 or 2 key features of your space. Maybe it's a scent, maybe it's a sensation. When you're ready, allow your eyes to open. And then go a little deeper here, so thumbs to the inner arch of the foot, let the feet peel open like a book. So you get that deep external rotation from the head of the femur bone and its attachment to the acetabulum, that shallow socket, all the way out to the outer edges of the feet. We'll keep this positioning of the pelvis for a lot of the class, so we'll continue here with the right leg extended. The left leg stays as it is. Now this is where we'll start to use the strap. Place the strap around the ball of the right foot and then lengthen the foot out. The strap will be held in the right hand. Left hand can go on your knee or fingertips content on the floor beside you. And again, you'll take a nice big breath, pull your shoulders back, lift your spine long, eyes can be closed or open, your choice. With your next breath, I want you to keep the sides of your waist long, but start to hinge in the direction of your extended leg. So the elbow will come to rest towards the inner knee and the hand will walk a little bit closer. So you can see that I didn't square my hips off over my leg for Janu Shirsasana, but I'm keeping my pelvis open as I do this little stretch. And what will happen is this one hip will want to lift, keep it grounded, maybe place the hand there and just say, hey, stay down. And then from that place, start to lengthen. I can feel this already in my outer waist coming up my mid waist up into the upper waist. Whew. Good, you can stay there, or you're welcome to add the upper arm, sweeping over the ear. Now, some of you who are wanting to go deeper could work with the strap in a little bit of a loop like this. And you could place that over the foot and take the strap into the upper arm. So now, you're at this place where you're getting such a deep side body stretch. So I want you to just take a few minutes and make sure that you're super comfortable. Another modification could be placing a block under the bottom arm. Sometimes that feels really good for me. I don't need that one today. But if that's something that you need, go ahead and take it. So take a few really deep breaths into your thoracic, peeling the ribs open with each inhale. Maybe the hand gets a little bit closer to the foot with each exhale. For your last few breaths, I want you to feel your triceps pulling back and your biceps kind of wrapping forward. Whew. It's a lot of work. Last 3, 2, 1. Very mindfully rise. And then just place your hands on your lap and close your eyes. Switch sides, grab your strap and your block if you used it. Place the strap over the ball of the left foot. And remember, there's 2 different ways to do it. So you could have just the strap placed like this if you're working just the bottom arm today. The upper arm could stay down or kind of be anywhere up in space. If you're wanting that really deep side body stretch, I encourage you to play with the loop of your strap and place that around your foot to really catch it. So let's start to go a little deeper now. My elbow's coming towards my inner leg. My opposite arm was down and now it is starting to lift. Now as I lift, the hip wants to lift with it, so stay grounded through that right sitting bone as you extend the arm over the ear. This is where you could grab the strap if you wish. There's going to be a lot of tension in the breath, so try to keep the breath flowing with a goal of kind of ironing out any of those sticky bits. And so for me, it means not going too deep at first, but actually backing off a little bit and then allowing my breath to slowly carry me into my pose over the next few moments. When you're ready to go deeper, you're starting to feel the side body lengthening. The upper arm bone is pulling back in space. Tricep back, bicep wraps forward. Maybe even push down through the opposite knee now to get more leverage into your stretch. And let's all hold for 3, 2, 1. Mindfully release all the way up. Place your hands to your lap. Whew. Release the strap. Nice work. You'll make your way up to standing from here. There's lots of ways to do that. Maybe knees back, coming through tabletop, tucking your toes, pushing onto the balls of your feet, and then rising up. Once you're in standing, you can face the camera. Have your feet hips distance apart, or for you it's not a camera, it is your device. Face your feet hips distance apart and go ahead and sweep your arms up. Interlace the hands above you. Index fingers will point straight ahead. Pull your biceps back in line with your ears, and then drop your ears away from your shoulders. So notice in video 1, so if you haven't done the first one of the series, I encourage you to go back because we did a lot of work in the ribs, and when the arms are in the overhead plane, the ribs kind of like to move forward. So right now, as your arms lift up, I want you to think of dropping the ribs down towards your hip points. So you're engaging through your core to be in this position. Now keep that. Push your feet, lift up and over to the left. So just like our last pose, you're receiving a beautiful side body stretch, preparing you for your side angle pose today. Good. The other really good thing about keeping the ribs down towards the hips is that it protects the low back. So now your lumbar is in neutral. I want you to keep that, but just drop the left arm, push the hand into your thigh and go a tiny bit deeper. When I do this, now I can feel the stretch to my outer hip. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Second side, inhale, lift. Interlace the hands the opposite way. Ears in line with biceps, shoulders away from ears. Lift up and over to the right. And then remember that you're drawing the ribs towards the hips as you maintain really steady and neutral lumbar spine. Let's go deeper by dropping just the bottom arm, so that right hand now will press into the right leg, bringing the stretch more deeply into the outer hip, and I'm pushing through that outer opposite heel as well. Good, inhale, sweep it up, and exhale, release. Hands to hips, and then take a wide stance. Once you've got your stance, you'll find the stance length by bringing your arms out, and I want your fingertips to line up over the outer edges of the feet. From there, hands return back to the hips, look at your feet, and draw the toes in slightly. This will help you give a push to the outer heel and the pinky toe side. Press the big toe mound down now, so there's a diagonal line of support from the outer heel to the big toe. Can you feel that? Keep that as you hinge at your hips. Once you get halfway, lift the sitting bones and hold fully. Rock your weight more to the balls of the feet and stay there for 3, 2, and 1. Rock back to the heels and inhale to rise. Push evenly. Draw the heels in, the toes out, and exhale, sink down now to goddess pose. Bring your hands to the inner seam of the knees, and then open the knees like a book. So similar to our first pose, that Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose, you get that external rotation here in goddess. Now, if you're super tight and the legs don't want to open, that's okay. Just rise up a little bit, scoop your pelvis under, and then try again. So find your edge. Maybe you're up here. Oh, I'm working pretty hard. Maybe you're sinking down a little bit lower. Wherever you are, pull the shoulders back, open across the chest, maybe even smile. So this positioning is the front leg of our series today. So the knee should be over the ankle, and the thigh eventually gets parallel. Can you imagine that? So sink the thigh bones down, 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 and just know that you're working and preparing for your 3-pose sequence with this amazing posture. If it's tough, come back to it. Revisit this class over and over again. It is a goodie. Take another breath, sinking down. And then on your inhale, you'll straighten the legs, parallel the feet, and we'll move to Skandasana. So towards the back leg, bend the knee and pop onto the ball of the foot. Pop onto the heel of the front leg. Your fingertips may stay down if you wish. I want you to focus on your extended leg, pulling the toes in towards the body so the foot is in dorsiflexion. Take another few breaths. You're welcome to play with balance if you want. You could try to drop that heel if the hips are open. You could try to bring the hands to the heart. Holding this one for 3, 2, 1. Let's switch sides. Hands down. Lift the hips up. Pause at center, and then go ahead and bend the front knee. Pop onto the ball of the foot, the heel of the back. Fingertips may stay down, or perhaps the hands walk in. Maybe dropping through that heel is possible. It'll feel way different on one side, so maybe it's not. Or play with the hands to the heart if you want to add that balance. Remember, the focus here is that stretch through the posterior chain of the leg. So pull the toes in towards the face, push the heel away. Holding there for 3, 2, 1. Release the hands, lift the hips. Parallel the feet, place hands to hips, shoulders to back, and then push down through your feet to rise up. And I hope you're feeling warm. I certainly am. Let's get started with our sequence. Bring the arms out to a T again, and I really want those legs far apart, fingertips lining over the outer edges of the heels. Once you have that, we'll start with Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Point the left toe to the front of your mat. Create a solid anchor through the back foot, so the outer heel and the big toe mound, that diagonal across the foot that I talked about, is the best way to create an anchor. Once you have that, let's descend into the front leg and go slow. So as you descend, I want you to think knee forward. Avoid lateral movements of the knee. I see that so often in class. Go slow, and if this is where you land, then this is awesome. Right? We are all working with our own bodies, our own history. So just take it slow. Remember that as you're bending into the knee, just like goddess pose, the pelvis is slipping under. How does that feel in Warrior 2? For me, it feels amazing, and it actually allows me to find a little more depth. Once the knee is over the ankle and the thigh bone is as close to parallel as you want it to get today, pull the shoulders back over the hips. Drift the arms up, but float the palms, and feel that amazing effort to the chest. You should feel really open. Shoulders have descended and depressed down the back body. Keep that as you subtly flip the palms, and then find your pose, holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Push down through your foot, straighten the leg. Keep the arms up as you parallel the feet, and we'll go to the back. Point the right toes to the back of the mat. Take a big inhale, get tall. Exhale, very slowly bend into the back leg. And then remember, we don't want that lateral movement side to side. So the knee is descending and shifting very slowly forward until it stacks over the ankle. Notice what it feels like to give that push off through the back foot. Remember, the big toe mound and the pinky, or the outer heel and the big toe mound are creating that diagonal of support. You've got that anchor. Can you go a little deeper into it? Drop the thigh. Pull the shoulders over the hips. Scoop the pelvis under. Flip the palms, drop those shoulders, and then relax, shift the gaze over the hand, and hold for 3, 2, 1. Push down through the legs to straighten, parallel the feet, and take hands to hips. Nice work. We'll do a little fold in between each of these. So narrow your stance, heel, toe in just a little, and hinge at the hips to release. Now, the first round that we did this, we had hands on hips. These next rounds, you can add any modification that you want. So the other options would be hands to the outer ankles, hands down in line with the feet, or arms interlaced, or hands interlaced rather, behind you, knuckles to sky. Slowly release the hands, inhale, lengthen halfway. Place hands to hips, push through the feet and rise. Pose number 2 is exalted warrior. So bring your arms out to a T, fingertips line up over the outer edges of the feet. Point the left toes forward, here we go. Descend into warrior 2. So use your bio memory now, I won't go through all the cues, but just enjoy your pose. Go slow, find that stability. For exalted warrior, flip the front palm and start to place the back hand to your thigh. Remember all the side bending we did at the beginning of class? Pull the core in and then lift the upper arm over the ear. Feel that amazing stretch through the left waistline without compromising your low back. So if you feel anything in the low back, it means that you need more rectus abdominis strength. Draw ribs to hips so that the low back gets more in its neutral position. You can have the gaze down if that feels better on the neck, or eventually shift the gaze to the sky. Keep the depth in the front leg. Oh, that's where it gets very challenging. For an added challenge, anyone that's wanting a different modification, back hand can swoop around you for the front hip. Holding here for 3, 2, 1. Return through warrior 2 and straighten the leg. Keep the arms out. Parallel the feet. Let's do the back. So point the right toes to the back of your mat. Inhale. And exhale, warrior 2. Flip the front palm. Place the back hand to your thigh. And then rather than just kind of caving into your pose, get that torso really stable and strong, ribs towards the hips, and then lift up. And notice that you can actually go a little bit deeper without compromising the alignment and the safety of your spine. Keep the depth in your warrior 2, and then maybe add on by sweeping the back arm towards that front hip. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Return through warrior 2 and straighten the leg. Parallel the feet. You can get the feet in a little closer. Hands to hips and fold. Your choice of variation. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Place hands to hips, shoulders to back, rise all the way up. Third and final pose is side angle pose. Bring the arms parallel to the floor, and then get yourself so fingertips line up over the outer edges of the feet. I need to go a little wider. There we go. Left toes to the front of the mat. Inhale here. Exhale through warrior 2. Inhale, exalted warrior. And then exhale, warrior two, and then reach forward, pause. Place the front forearm to thigh, the back hand to your hip. Now in this position, this is our starting position, I want you to think about the relationship of your front femur bone, the longest bone in the body. The knee likes to be in here. Now if you think of pushing the knee toward the pinky toe side of your foot, notice what happens to the inner thigh. So for me, when I push the knee to the pinky toe side of my foot, my inner thigh moves more to the center of my mat. My butt was sticking out. Now it's a little bit more neutral. So see if that helps for you. Knee to the left, sitting bones scoop under. Back hand is at the hip, peel the shoulders open. And trace the side body long, reach the arm over the ear. This is stage one. For stage two, you can use a block positioned at the inside of your foot on either its highest, mid, or lowest level. Position three, you can use your fingertips tented to the inner side of the foot. I love this because my elbow continues to push my knee out. Wherever you are, find your pose and hold for 3, 2, keep your back inner thigh buoyant as you continue to sink. And 1, gaze down, find warrior 2, straighten the leg and parallel the feet. Second side. Point the right toes back, inhale. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, reach forward, front forearm to thigh, opposite hand to hip. Notice that front femur bone. Take the knee to the pinky toe side of the foot so the sitting bone scoops under. And then the thigh bone is just in the same alignment as the long side of your mat now, right? Keep that. Spiral the torso open, so I'm actually pushing pretty strongly through that bottom arm to create space rather than caving down. Trace the side body long as you reach the arm over the ear for option 1. Option 2, you could play with the block on its highest, mid, or lowest level. Option 3, fingertips find the inner seam of the foot. Wherever you are, hold for 3, 2, 1. Gaze down, windmill the arms up, and straighten the leg. Hands to hips, parallel the feet. Final forward fold, hinge. This time, push through your big toe mounds and lift through your outer hips. So think of pulling your sitting bones apart. So there's a flaring apart action. This will create more space across the sacrum and the low back and get you into your deepest forward fold yet. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale. We need to get down to the mat, so there's a few ways to do that. Let's point ourselves towards the front of the mat. And then we can just lower the back knee and lower the left. Take a seat. And get those legs wide for your closing pose. Upavishta Konasana. You might need to have the sitting bones off the mat so that the heels can land on the mat, both for comfort and traction. And you also might want to lift the pelvis here with a blanket or a block or something to get it higher than the knees to encourage that forward fold. So once you're comfortable, place your fingertips behind you. Inhale, lift and lengthen your spine. And then exhale, hinge right at the hips and go forward. Now we're going to do this a few times. So you can rise up on your inhale, and you can rise forward on your exhale. So legs might start at 90. When I first started doing this pose, I stayed right here, and it felt really safe for me. Most men will be here as well, just because the shape of your pelvis is very different than the shape of a female pelvis. If you're wanting to open up the inner thighs more, you can take the legs slightly wider. I'll let you choose what feels best in your body. But just work with these little rocks forward and back. Either hands behind, hands in front, or robot arms, elbows right into the midline, palms facing one another. I know it looks funny, but it really works wonders to get you connected to your core. So we're just hinging here to open up the inner thighs really evenly. And yes, we've done a lot of work to get those adductor groups quite open and malleable, but this is going to be a big pose, so I want you to really feel prepared. We'll do about 3 or 4 more of these, noticing each round that you can go a little deeper. I can share an anecdote here that the first time I did this pose, I was up here with blocks under my knees. And that might be you today. So this is an awesome modification. As a runner, my hamstrings are just so tight. As I slowly worked into this pose over the years and began more of a stretching habit, hence the birth of Stretch Every Day, my website and business, I slowly began to create more space. And people look at me and they say, oh, are you naturally flexible? And I'm not. But through a stretching practice, I have developed amazing flexibility that matches my strength. So stay with your stretching practice, please, please, please. And when you're ready, you'll land in your pose, whether it's where I was with the blocks, upright, or hinging a little bit deeper. Maybe the hands come forward or the elbows drop. I just want you to pay attention to your body. This is your practice. Close your eyes. And for this moment, just remember where you were, where you are now, and where you are headed. Enjoy one final big breath in this posture. And then walk your hands in. Send your legs forward. Move onto your back. Close your eyes, relax your face, and enjoy just a few brief moments of complete relaxation. lie here, just notice your body once again. Observing a few of the shifts that your practice might have brought today. You can stay here as long as you want. If you'd like to close class with us, bring your hands together, press your thumb towards the forehead, and take a deep breath just for yourself. Thank you so much for sharing this practice. From my heart to yours, Namaste.